One of the challenges of publishing KDP low content and medium content books on Amazon is coming up with good titles, subtitles, and descriptions for your books, and also incorporating your keywords into those elements. So in this video, I'm going to show you a fast way of creating these using artificial intelligence or AI. Now, what I'm going to show you is going to be mainly around the low content and medium content books, but I'll also show you an example of creating titles for fiction and non-fiction books, things like kids' storybooks, which I know a lot of people who watch this channel create. So this is perfect for coming up with ideas, using your keywords, and also if English is not your first language, it's great for making sure your grammar and punctuation is also correct. Now, if you've not been to this channel before, then welcome. My name is Paul Marles and I do videos on how to make it, keep them great, and that's your money I'm talking about. If you do like videos like that, then please do give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, smash that notification bell. So AI is very popular at the moment, and it seems like every week a new tool is being released and a new use is being found for it. And in fact, I've been experimenting with this a lot and finding lots of different uses for using these tools. And there's also big investment going into this. And I think it was last week Microsoft announced they were putting a bigger stake into openai.com, which is what we're going to be using today, which is ChatGPT. And I'm sure it's not going to be too long until Google release their own tools with similar functionality. So I'll show you how to go through the steps of creating prompts to create these titles, subtitles, and descriptions for your books. And with these tools, it seems like the prompts are the most important thing around creating good outputs. And if you see those fantastic images that are being created with AI, it all comes down to those prompts whereby you can put in that correct information and get the correct output. So let's start by going over to openai.com, and we're going to be using ChatGPT, which at the time of creating this video is absolutely free to use. Now, I know some people say that they've been having difficulty getting onto this, or it's too busy. Well, I think that's just because a lot of people are actually using this. Now, I don't seem to have too much problem, but that might be because I'm in Australia, and when I'm using it, a lot of the world is actually asleep. Anyway, we're here on ChatGPT, so let's look at our first prompt we're going to use. Create a book title, subtitle, and description for a book using the keywords budget planner and money organizer, and let's see what it comes up with. So it's looking good. Title: budget planner, a comprehensive guide to organizing your money. And subtitle: master your finances and achieve your financial goals. Now, if you read this description, it's written a description for a comprehensive guide and easy to follow steps and practical tools to organizing your money, which is not actually what a low content book in this niche would be about. It's more a book that people fill in with their numbers, figures of their finances. And also we've got the title here. Now, this title would actually be useful for a title and subtitle. So we're getting two titles and subtitles here, and in the subtitle we're just getting the subtitle. So we need to modify this a bit. Just put in this prompt: create a book title, subtitle, and description for a low content book, this time using keywords back to school planner and teacher planner, and see if this comes up with something more appropriate. So again, we've got that double title, which incorporates the subtitle. Okay, so this is something more appropriate to the types of books we're creating. Now, I suggest when you are using this tool, anything that it creates, you do check and you do make any edits to it if it doesn't sound right or it suggests things that aren't actually in your book. But I found on the whole, the results have been pretty amazing. So let's just try that original prompt with the budget planner, and this time put in low content book and see if that changes things. Money organizer, a budget planner for financial success. Now, I'll tell you why I wouldn't use that as my title in a moment. But looking at the description, this looks pretty good. And also the subtitle looks pretty good. Again, it's added in 120 pages. I don't know where it's got that from because we haven't put that in the prompt, but certainly the description looks pretty good. Although you may want to remove things where it says the planner also includes helpful tips and resources to guide you on your journey to financial success, unless of course you are including that in your book. But I think that would be a pretty good start if you were publishing one of these types of books. Okay, so let's modify this a bit further. And this time we are actually going to put in the size of the book and the number of pages. And this time for a word search for adults book, and also using the keyword word search puzzle book. Okay, I like that title, word search puzzles for adults. Hasn't actually used our keyword within the title, but I like that subtitle, and the description looks pretty good to me. So when I'm publishing low content, medium content books, my title is usually a main keyword. So in the next prompt, I'm going to tell it what the title is, which is just going to be one of my main keywords, and then see what it comes up with for the rest. Okay, so create a subtitle and description for a book with title Accounting Ledger, which is going to be my main keyword for the book. Again, 120 pages, 8.5 by 11 inches, and we've added in a couple of keywords as well. So with the content that it does create, if it isn't putting in the keywords that you want, where you want, and it's substituting it for a different word, you could just substitute that for one of your keywords. Small Business Owner's Guide to Organised Accounting. Okay, I see where I've made the mistake here. I haven't added in low content book. So actually it's coming up with the content for a different type of book. So let's redo that and add in low content book. I think it's amazing that ChatGPT knows the difference between a normal book and a low content book. So let's see what this creates. Okay, it's actually creating a slightly different subtitle, which you may want to put a keyword in. So it could be something like the Small Business Owner's Ledger or the Small Business Owner's Business Accounting Book. So let's have a look at the description. Okay, help you stay organized. Again, it says includes helpful tips and resources, so you might want to remove that, but the rest of it looks pretty good. And you can see how fast this is. And I know when I've created my own books, I've spent ages sometimes trying to come up with something original for the title, subtitle, description, especially for the description. And I think the suggestions here are really, really good. And as I said, if English is not your first language, this is great because it gives you all the correct spelling. Well, hopefully it does. I haven't noticed any spelling errors, but also it gives you the correct grammar and punctuation as well. And I know when I've reviewed books for people, if English isn't their second language, it's been the main area of issue. As I said, things like spelling, grammar, the punctuation, and it can really put customers off. If they see that title and there's any errors in there and English is their first language, it can really look unprofessional and just put a customer off completely. So I think this would help if you are in that particular situation. So now, just to play around with this a bit, let's see if it can suggest some titles for a science fiction book. And you could substitute science fiction for children's storybook or, I don't know, historical romance book. So let's have a look here. Okay. It's actually suggesting us some books to read, some science fiction books to read. So we need to modify the prompt for this. So instead of suggest, we'll change that to create. Okay, this looks more interesting. Now, what I don't know is whether these are actual titles that are already on Amazon. So what you would need to do if you were doing this is to, if something piques your interest, you would need to take that, paste it into the Amazon search bar, and see if there are any books published with that same title. And also a word on that as well. If you are doing things like titles of fiction, non-fiction books, then it's also probably worthwhile just double checking in the trademark area as well on uspto.gov to make sure what you're using doesn't breach trademarks. And in some instances, you may want to also do that as well with the low content and medium content book suggestions, because you never know, it may suggest a title and it may suggest a title with something like bullet journal in, for instance. And I know bullet journal is trademarked, so if you went ahead and just use that as is, you may get into issues with your account and actually losing your account. So if there's something there in the title that you think, oh, I really need to double check, then just double check. It's free to do. Go to uspto.gov and check your words there. So I hope you can see the potential with this. What I suggest doing is just going out there and experimenting with it. And by all means, use those exact same prompts that I've used. Obviously, you want to change it if you're using different keywords, it's a different type of book, or you've got things like different number of pages than the ones I've shown here. Now, if you're interested in using ChatGPT for other functions, then I have done a video here on how to use it to come up with niche ideas for your low content and medium content books. I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much for your time. It is very much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, goodbye.